Hello. Today I was expanding on a thought about how we come across to others as opposed to how we're feeling inside. And I'll often deliver workshops or interactive events. And people are so polite. Everyone's so well trained. They usually sit in their space and they might chat a little bit, but otherwise people will listen and they'll stop. And even if they're getting bored, their eyes might be glazed. However, generally people will be quite well behaved. And that's a wonderful thing in terms of keeping order, but it's not altogether that wonderful for the person and their individual experience, because it may mean that they're just waiting for time to pass. In addition, they might be sitting there and suddenly a question comes their way or someone asks them something and they might be jolted and, if anything, shocked and feeling quite nervous about making any reply because they haven't really been there. But the other thing I come across is that depending on people's personality, even an interested person, so a person who's quite engaged and inside, in their mind, quite interactive, is actually quite blank on the surface. They might have their head tilted, they might be looking, but it's actually, from an external point of view, very difficult to gauge whether someone's listening, present, or whether they're far away. And as a presenter, there's a lot of benefit and some appreciation on my side when I do see people nodding and or thinking and or absorbing, and some people even reacting in some way, and it's expressed. And as a deliverer of information, of course I quite like that, because I know those individuals might be in and they're turned on for that experience. But not everyone can work that way. I myself don't really work that way. I'll tend to be quite internal in my processing, but if I'm very aware of the presenter or I see that it's quite quiet, I may decide, so make a conscious choice to nod or to indicate that I'm with them, especially if I have got the headspace to do that. But if I'm really seriously in thought, I may not even give a thought to giving anything externally because I'm still in my experience. But I actually thought about this internal and external expression as it comes to problems in people's lives, and how someone can say something. They might say, "Oh, did you hang the washing out?" Or, "Did you get that photocopying done?" And it might just be a question. But the other person may go into a moment of thought and or panic even, because their answer may be, "Well, yes, I did. Why are they asking me?" Or, "Well, I'm not sure. Just give me a second. I've got to think back to what I was doing this morning." Or it might be a feeling of panic, going, "Oh my gosh, I forgot. I was going to and I didn't get there." So on the surface, you have one person and they're asked the question, and this other person is going to give an answer, but they might be all blank. And behind the scenes is all this stirring and thought, but there's nothing coming back. And so depending on the relationship, depending on the personalities, this person may go, "Well, are you going to tell me?" They might become demanding. They might become attacking. They may become pouty. "Fine then, don't tell me." They might be indignant or even judgmental. "Yep, I thought so. Yep, thought it didn't get done." And at that point, when someone's blank, it might not match what's going on behind the scenes, but how would this individual know? And yet, depending on what interaction there is, that could become a personal and a painful experience for this individual. That said, it may be a personal and painful experience for this individual too, and so everyone goes off, thinking their own thing. And I was aware that each person can make a change, can make a difference. And I'm not sure who actually starts wanting it to be different. Is it the individual who goes blank? And is it the person here who would like clearer interaction with others and not to be imposed upon or judged for their thought or their time that they need? Or is it this individual who gets fed up of not getting their answers, who doesn't like to be seen as aggressive, but feels like, well, how are they to blame? So in all of this, how do you actually make a difference? How do you change? And I suppose it really comes back to deciding which position you're in and taking responsibility for what is your emotional state and what's holding you back, and then checking how much you actually want to attend to the other party after attending to yourself. I'll speak about that more at another time. But at this point in time, this was just a moment of reflection and a moment of thought, of asking you, when do you go blank? Is it when you're serious and you're suddenly thinking of a number of things? Is it when you are actually surprised by the question and processing and trying to make sense of it? Or do you go blank when you're angry and you actually don't want to give anything at all, but you'd rather not be pushed into giving any further information? When do you go blank? And is it serving you? Until next time.